We've been covering the Great Resignation quite a lot recently, and we're going to talk about another story. Well, Mike is going to introduce it on today's Not So Critical update.
And this time we are not getting into the our anti-work angle of it, but we're going to focus on the IT side specifically. As a IT professional myself, I know that I see some things in the market. Like if I wanted to switch jobs, there's more money to be had. If I was an entry-level person coming into the market, getting a job is tough. The interesting twist here is talking about whether this Great Resignation is hurting our economy because now companies are starting to look in South America to fill some of these positions. Let's just start with that. There are a couple other aspects I know John and I were talking about that we want to get into. This is a really interesting problem.
It's okay, guys. I don't have an opinion. It's fine.
Okay.
No, sorry.
Cool, Peter. Why don't you just sit back, relax, enjoy the show?
Is that like some passive aggressive shot at how I introduced it, or you just really don't have an opinion?
No, you just said, I know that there were a couple of other things that John and I wanted to talk about. So, yeah, all right, fine, thank you. Yeah, hi.
That John and I have already been talking about.
We have.
Sorry, yeah. Peter, what would you like to say about this article?
Do you have any opinions on this, Peter?
No. No, it's fine. Well, of course I do, but I'll let you say yours first if you like.
Well, it's an interesting
secret. Oh, go ahead.
So the way this kind of reinforces itself, I think, is interesting. And we saw this with cybersecurity, huge demand for cybersecurity professionals, but a lot of competition for entry-level positions. We see the same thing, and that's what's driving this. If you have a job and want to change, it is a buyer's market. Like you can ask for anything and you'll probably get it. These companies are desperate to hire a lot of these people, so they're looking in South America, overseas. But if you're entry level or if you're a low level tech, it's probably pretty tough for you right now.
Yeah, and that's been the case for a long time. IT used to be you didn't go to college, go get a cert, you will get hired, and unfortunately, that became a double-edged sword because so many non-upper education or college graduates said, I'm going to get into IT. I can fix computers, or I used to fix my mom's printer or whatever. And of course, they are capable to do low-level IT stuff, but they saturated the market. This is a huge issue. And now, and obviously that is an issue. Couple that with offshore companies taking a fraction of the cost, or offshore individuals taking a fraction of the cost. The low-level IT market definitely doesn't have the demand versus the supply. While if we go up the ladder a little bit, that whole switch is swapped instantly, and by huge numbers too. You could, with a few years of experience, get hired pretty much anywhere in the IT sector or industry. The need for experienced hands is so vast that they are hiring in South America. And why South America specifically? This is no secret, because of the time zone. US companies don't like having to wait 12 hours for someone to come online.
Or even 6 hours.
Right,
actually.
Exactly. So what they do is they hire what's closest, and what's closest is South America. There's exceptions to this, of course. We're sitting with one right now.
Hi.
But generally speaking, South Americans are educated, capable, and they're cheap, which is a huge chip or a bonus for these tech companies.
Yeah, it's
that
a
will
bonus.
Not last.
It's a bonus, but the thing is that they wouldn't, if there was like a surplus of local talent, then they wouldn't have gone looking in the first place. I think that people have been, this has been on offer for a long time. It's just never been taken advantage of until the lack of talent has become so obvious.
And it doesn't even stop just because they're hiring in South America, it doesn't mean anything. There still is a lack of talent. They are still struggling. And also, thanks to US regulations, a lot of companies cannot hire South Americans or any foreigner because they have to be either US residents or US citizens or have secret clearance or whatever, you know.
I think what you just said about it doesn't stop is absolutely like fundamental to this whole situation. If suddenly a whole bunch of talented, like entry-level people became available, then foreigners would not be hired as much. It's not a problem of there's overseas talent which is much cheaper. It's a problem of there's not any talent locally, and
you
that's
think
the
this
biggest
is
reason.
At the lower level, the entry level, you think this is where the problem is?
I think so. Yes. Yeah. Why? You sound skeptical.
I feel like maybe talent is the key word. There are a lot of entry-level people looking for work. So then you could say, well, are they qualified? Are they the best candidates? Then it starts to get trickier. I don't know.
Sorry. Yeah, that's what I meant. That's exactly what I meant. The people who are worth hiring at that level. There's a lack of those people.
Yeah, that's a tougher problem to solve then.
And it's also a case by case. It's super hard to quantify something like this.
Yeah.
Because every company is going to have a tailor-made requirement page, and not everyone can be a 10Xer.
There's only a finite number of skills that you can learn in the internet industry or in the tech industry. I mean, it's not like, there's an infinite number of different skills to be learned.
But people are doing these things. Like John said, the advice for a long time was like, go get a cert and you can get a job.
My brother made a comment.
Well, no, but if in lieu of experience, that's your option. My brother made the comment to me the other day that I shared with John that IT workers are the blue collar workers of this economy. And you'll hear people say like, hey, if your blue collar job goes away, get retrained for a tech job. If now we're saying like, okay, well, just because you got retrained doesn't mean you're qualified.
No.
It's a workforce problem, I think. I read a really interesting article the other day. Actually, I saw a really good YouTube video, which was, which spawned a Twitter thread. It was about differences between working for Facebook and TikTok. And it was essentially a comparison of Chinese culture and American culture, work culture, and how the companies operate. And there were some amazing differences. Like in TikTok, one line manager might be responsible for 200 different individual reports. And they don't have time for one-to-ones. They don't have time for like managing a person's career growth or anything like that. It's just productivity. And that's all they care about because there's so many people. And the people who are working on the level are incredibly anxious about losing their position because it's a way of getting paid more than average. And they are will work. There's this 996 thing where they work 9 hours, 9 till 9, 6 days a week, which is crazy. Like 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. And it's just no one in the West would ever consider doing that voluntarily.
No.
The other thing was that another really amazing thing about this, John, you might not have seen this or heard about this, was they don't have automated tests in their code. They rely entirely on the massive QA teams, and each individual test case is just manually tested for everything. Yeah. They don't have QA. They don't have automated tests. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So, Dad, just to explain, when you're coding something, usually if you're coding up a feature or something, you have an automated system which can go through and check all the different features that you're implementing. And it's a way that you can rerun it automatically, and it doesn't need a human to go through all these different steps every time. And it's a super common thing.
I don't know why you think your dad doesn't know that, Peter.
Because I'm not sure QA is an acronym I'm not sure everybody's heard of. Quality assurance, it's a manual tester. All right, Dad. Anyway, I don't know.
Was that you do that? I apologize.
The productivity focus is interesting. I had been brought in to manage an Indian contractor at one point, and I was trying to say is this done? Are you working on it, or is it not started? And he just kept saying, yeah. And somebody else said to me like, he won't admit to not having started it yet because there's so many other people ready to just take his job that he can't show any weakness. And well, that doesn't do me any good. I'm not trying to judge him. I'm just trying to understand the situation. And I feel like I'm not getting good information. So it's a really interesting push and pull there.
But the thing is that TikTok can actually produce a quality product that works.
Yeah.
And it's because there are so many people. Yeah, by brute force.
Wow. That is crazy.
It is really weird to think about.
Teach us.
Well, so we're talking about hiring entry level or lower people for lower level positions because there's a lack of the workforce. So how do these people get in the West? We were also talking about qualifications. One of the other things in this article was that in China, most people have multiple degrees, even at the lower rungs of the ladder. There's something like the average number of PhDs or masters per person is like 4 times as much as in the West. And it's because they've gone off and got themselves educated so that they can enter this workforce because it's a way of making money for their families. That doesn't happen in America, in the US, and America and the US. So that's what can be done about it.
I mean, good luck paying for one PhD.
That's what I was gonna say.
Like,
if you, or even a bachelor's, if you, let's say you are uneducated,
right?
You live in a lower income area. You make 15 grand a year.
Yeah.
You're not going to college.
I don't think that the people in that position can solve this problem. I think the government could solve it by
100%.
Yeah.
But the government is even all the people asking, and I want this also, but all the people asking the government to forgive student loans, again, are looking at it the wrong way. It's not about forgiving student loans. It's about making students not have to pay for college. Now, of course, 100% retroactively, you should forgive those student loans. But the problem is so much larger. The student debt, what is it at? $1.7 trillion? It's going to be the cause of the next market collapse. Just like with the housing market in 2008. When a default rate reaches a certain threshold, right? The outcome usually is catastrophic. Because if a bank is banking on getting X amount of money a month from, let's say, these loans, but it doesn't, then all of a sudden it's kind of a cascading domino effect of all the other shit the bank is involved in. And this is, we are teetering, we are on the line of this happening. And people are saying, please forgive these loans, bail us out. You bailed out the banks, bail out your citizens. And they're not going to.
From a worker's standpoint, what are your options? Don't go to college and can't get a job, or go to college, have $120,000 in debt, and maybe get a job. Like, what's the choice there?
Oh no, the workers are fucked. Yeah.
Yes, agreed.
There are no choices.
So what would we say? Like, there are people who don't have degrees, but are, going through certification programs, getting the training, looking for jobs. What's the message to them?
Go live somewhere else.
No, that is not the message, because many of them can't. The message, seriously, is if you want it, this is coming from a 0-generation immigrant who moved to America with literally $1,500.
Sorry, mate.
If you want this, if you want success, this is going to sound so cringe. If you want success, you can get it. It is all about how badly you want it. How badly do you not want to be in the class you're in? How strong is the fire burning under your ass? Because many people will blame anything but themselves. This is kind of like the hard truth, the strong-arming parent type of advice. They will blame everything but themselves while being passive or not trying or not learning or not applying. But the truth is, if you spam out both skills that you've learned and applications and networking and going to virtual events, COVID, you don't have to go to even physical events. There is a way to brute force your way into an industry. That doesn't require a college education.
Go ahead, Peter. I have some thoughts about
I was
what
going
I
to
just said to you, though.
Yeah. Wait, is that coming back at me now? My earlier comment. I just wanted to say that.
No.
I
just want to make sure you feel heard, though, Peter.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. I think the brute force thing is interesting because the whole thing, I don't like that American phrase of, oh, it's about how bad you want it, dude. You can make your dreams come true if only you like think hard enough or just dream big, whatever. That kind of like turns me off a little bit. But the brute forcing thing, anybody can do. And it's the more practical side of it is, learn as many little things as you can, as you, on your own, on the internet. Go out there and start looking for answers and trying to figure out how to solve problems that other people have. Go and spam your CV to everywhere, literally everybody you can. Read job reviews, read job company reviews, volunteer to be an intern if you can on your spare time. Go and read job requirements for LinkedIn, figure out what things people are asking for. There's a ton of things you can do for free on your own or in a library or something. And it's not just about like wanting it. It's about going out there and doing all those little shitty things. So grafting, I suppose.
I was going to say exactly the same thing Peter just said, though probably not quite as clearly. The only thing I would add is it's not going to be easy. You might end up taking 20, 30, 50, 100 interviews and get rejected every time to get that one that you want. But it is there.
No, won't even be the one you want. That's the thing, right? That's where it comes. Now, sorry to cut you off. This comes back to how badly you want it. Because if you really want it, right? If you will wade through shit for a year or 2 years, then you really do want it. And what I mean by that is some shit MSP that's going to work you 60 hours a week, driving out to have you crawling under dusty shit desks and connecting cables. What I'm saying is that if you really want to make it in an industry that doesn't require a college education, you're going to have to go through some shit to get there. Because there is 20 of you who not only have a college degree, but might even have a year experience.
God, so you have discouraging, aren't you?
And that's why am I just
this is turned in from. Sorry, I was gonna say this is turned from like you can go out there and get it if you really work hard enough to you're gonna go through shit. This is gonna be awful. It'll be the worst experience of your life.
Like you'll come out successful.
Yeah, John's right in this one narrow way. No, like both things are true. To get that opportunity, you're going to have to claw and scratch and fight, and your first opportunity may suck. But as soon as you can have a year's experience, it's a whole different world. Now you're in a situation, it's so much easier to change jobs than to get a job. And
Never
it's a whole different world. So,
always switch jobs.
So it's going to suck. It's going to take longer than you want. You're going to have to do shit that you don't want to do. For a lot of people, it doesn't feel natural to be interviewing. That's when you're trying to get a job, your job is trying to get a job, right? Exactly. The skill that you need to learn is interviewing. Position. You need to work on your resume. You need to work on your certs, all the things Peter said. But there are openings. You just got to find them, and then you build from there.
The other one thing I wanted to say is, and I try and apply this advice to myself in lots of ways in life, but it works for this as well. Which is that statistically speaking, everybody gets lucky every now and again. I think the key thing is to be prepared to take advantage of that luck when it comes along.